Wuthering Waves is an upcoming gacha game from a company called Kuro Games, the makers of Punishing Gray Raven. Now, like myself and probably a lot of you, I have never played PGR or heard of Kuro Games, probably because they didn't market their original game enough. Anyways, sup guys, Mish here, and today I want to talk about things I liked, disliked, and what I think Wuthering Waves needs to succeed. So sit back, wuther your balls, and let's get into it. But before that, a little about myself. Genshin was my first ever gacha game. With that in mind, I'm going to be comparing Wuthering Waves to Genshin Impact. Now, I have to stress this. Everything I'm about to say is my opinion. You got that? My opinion. Yeah. Our opinion. No, my opinion. Me. Our opinion. You know what? Fuck this.
Hakai.
So please, no need for death threats. With that being said, let's get started. First, let's start by addressing the gacha. Now, before I list my actual issue, I want to ask you guys what character you all think I pulled during the beta. That's right, I got a fucking plant. A stupid hippie looking ass child that probably hasn't showered. Now it would be okay if she was, somewhat decent, but nah bro. The gremlin is straight ass, straight doo-doo. It's like a Amber 2.0. Now Kuro, I'm willing to forgive you if you meet my demands. I would like 7 copies of Yinlin and her body pillow. Provide that and I will forget this transgression. You have until launch or I will get really mad because I should be the only motherfucker getting praise for putting up with this shit character. Now, if you have ever played any Hoyoverse game, except Honkai Impact 3rd, side note, I've never played it or plan to. Game looks mid as hell. There, I said it. Come at me. Anyways, if you have played, then you know how the gacha works. If not, then let me just summarize it for you. Basically, every 10 wishes you get a guaranteed item, that being a character or weapon, but then every 90 wishes you get a 5-star. You got it? Anyway, there's only 2 types of wishing currency in Genshin and Starro. One allows for limited time weapons and characters to be obtained, and then the other currency allows for standard weapons and characters to be obtained. Now, in Wuthering Waves, they got 3 currencies, and if I'm going to be honest, I don't like it at all. The 3rd currency is for the limited weapon banner itself. No, I wouldn't have any issues with this during the beta if they gave out, weapon gachas in the beta, but it seemed like they didn't, and I don't know how generous Kuro Games is when it comes to their gacha games. I'm hoping they're generous, but during the beta I felt like I hardly got any, so yeah. Now, the next major thing is tits. Bigger personalities. Now, reading from the dev notes, it seems they have alleviated some of the concerns I've had, but I'm still going to list them, I think Wuthering Waves has great character design, but I just think they need to touch up their facial expressions a bit more, such as running or something, or the cinematics. I think they could be a little bit better, in my opinion. But overall, I do like the designs, they're pretty well. But characters are great, but rewards are another thing. So the next major thing I'd like to see is better open world rewards, besides gacha currency. I'm not saying they shouldn't give us any gacha currency, but I would want things like weapons that can only be obtained from exploring and not being obtained from the gacha. So yeah, basically more free to play options just in case. Like in Genshin, you do get some weapons from quests, but they are few and far in between. And more often than not, you get useless items that you never really use. It would be great if the world had exploration, like Elden Ring, where no matter where you go, you would always gain something. Like, I'm tired of running around picking mint like I'm some type of mint picker or some shit. Like, just give us better and meaningful rewards. Alright, next up, we need better boss fights. Ones that adapt to the player depending on what characters you have. A perfect example is in Elden Ring. Yes, I am shilling for that game. It's a great game, you should play it. So like that first mini boss you see when you exit the temple, the tree sentinel, yeah, bro has a literal shield. So if you try to spam it with like spells, it can just deflect it right back at you. Now, from what I've played, Wuthering Waves bosses seem to be promising. I just hope that once we have fully built our characters, the bosses don't die in 2 hits. Yes, I have watched other videos covering this topic, and it seems the bosses gain more attacks and combos the higher adventure rank or whatever it's called. So that's very good. But the thing I am worried about is like those new attacks will eventually get old and it will just become a piece of cake again. At least from what I think. I don't know. I could be completely wrong, you know? Like, it would be cool to have some type of randomness to the bosses, but I just hope they live up to the hype and they don't nerf them when the game fully launches. But yeah, I'm just tired of having bosses that are like in Genshin where they go down in 10 seconds if you breathe too heavily. Like, just give us more of a challenge. And I know some of you Genshin players are listening to this and already having panic attacks or PTSD. And to those players, I say, get good, bitch. Now, speaking of bitches, the next point is more for us, the Wuthering Waves community, and that being, what's the polite way of saying this, is to keep the people with the IQ level below room temperature that will be coming from Genshin Impact in check, and to not let them dictate anything. Like, I am tired of all the Genshin stands having such a toxic, positive outlook on the game, leading to no meaningful changes. Now, let me make this clear. Criticism is not toxic. It's always needed. Wuthering Waves will have things we won't like, and voicing our concerns will help the game, not hurt it. This applies to every single game that exists, besides Witcher 3, because that game is perfect. Next up is continuous endgame content. If Genshin is the only gacha game you've played, then you know what I mean. We have had the same endgame content since launch, because the brain-dead devs are afraid that adding more endgame would cause anxiety in the community. Like, bro, parts of the community already has anxiety. Don't believe me? Look at Enviosity. That green blob had a panic attack over not being able to get Rosaria. Now, I'm not downplaying anxiety. I had panic attacks myself, but my dude, if you have frequent panic attacks, then don't play games like this. And that goes for anyone. Anyways, back on topic. Just add endgame content, and if you are someone who doesn't like hard content, then don't play that portion of the game. I know, crazy concept. Wow. Like, not every part of the game is meant for you. One example is TCG in Genshin Impact. I have never touched, and never will touch, that game mode in Genshin Impact because I have more than 2 brain cells to understand that it's not for me. Alright, some closing thoughts. I just wanted to say that these are all just random ideas I'm throwing out, you know, just so we start talking about it, things that work, things that don't work. Yeah, I could be completely wrong with some of my takes. I understand that. I'm basically comparing all of this to AAA games, like on console. I get that at the end of the day, this is a mobile game, and they have to cater to those players as well. And I know that you can't get too complex when it comes to mobile games. So if the fighting isn't that advanced, then I'm okay with it. It's fine. Another topic I forgot to mention is I don't know if any gacha game does this, where they go back and buff an older character. So far, in Hoyo first games at least, they don't do that at all. I don't know if that's also a possibility, if older characters that are suffering can get buffed. That's just my take. But yeah. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know down in the comments what you want Wuthering Waves to do right. Leave a like and sub. I'll very much love you. Anyways, it's been Mish.